Good afternoon. You can feel the goodness in this room, can you not? It's palpable as we gather to celebrate our distinguished alumni who have come back home. Welcome home. We welcome you here today because these good people have spent their lives committed to a good greater than themselves. They are representatives of our Viterbo community, where each and every day we try to prepare our students for faithful service and ethical leadership, to work for a good beyond ourselves, which gives hope to the world. It's a Franciscan vision. Please welcome Father Conrad Turgansky, Viterbo University's chaplain, who reminded me today that today is the Navy birthday. Happy birthday, Captain Conrad Turgansky.
Anchors away. Let us pray for God's presence, that He may embrace these, our alumni and alumni, Sue, Sister Georgia, Barbara, Scott, Michelle, Lindsay, Dean, Juan, Colin, and Andrew, with a distinguishing, multi-valued model of servant leadership in the spirit of St. Francis. We therefore give thanks to the same God who has inspired them in Franciscan style, with His goodness, in His being our Father, making us sisters and brothers, with a focus on creation, a relationship with all God has created, a sense of radical inclusiveness, inspiring them to moving toward people on the margins, and thus thereby fostering and championing peace and reconciliation in the face of hatred. Celebrating this 800th year of the gospel life undertaken by this poor man of Assisi, and the 800th year of his holding up the child of Bethlehem for our adoration and celebration, join me in thanksgiving for these noticeable pilgrims who continue to give Viterbo University its light of faith. And in your most holy name we pray. Amen.
A year ago, Rick Tritley was inaugurated as Viterbo's 10th president. We are so blessed that God sent Rick and Michelle Tritley to the Midwest, particularly to Viterbo, to serve and lead us with joy and humility. Please welcome our very own servant leader, Rick Tritley.
Thank you, Tom. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'd like to officially welcome you to the 2023 Distinguished Alumni Awards Ceremony. And on behalf of our entire Viterbo community, our Board of Trustees, Viterbo Ministries, our faculty and staff, our students, and our thousands of alumni worldwide, welcome back to campus and congratulations to our award winners. I'd also like to acknowledge everyone who's watching us on the live stream and supporting these great people. Thank you for participating also. There's also a few members in the audience who we know as our founders and as the torchbearers of Viterbo University, the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. Sisters, could you raise your hands out there in the audience? Thank you. Today is truly a great day. We offer our congratulations to 10 award winners today, 8 who are physically present with us. As Tom said, welcome home. We're so happy that you're back here on campus today. I apologize for the weather, but we've made the most of it, right? Today's honorees represent educators, healthcare professionals and executives, business executives, nonprofit organization leaders, the performing arts, scientists, the FSPA, and philanthropic leaders. All of our honorees are servant leaders who have lived out Viterbo's values of contemplation, service, stewardship, hospitality, and integrity. Their commitment to the common good has positively impacted people and organizations locally, regionally, and nationally. We have a logo at Viterbo that says, Viterbo graduates are changing the world. Our honorees today have certainly changed the world for the better. Here at Viterbo, we take great pride in preparing students for lives of faithful service and ethical leadership. We've done this for 134 years and will continue to accomplish this mission for many years to come. We provide a whole person, liberal arts education grounded in our Catholic Franciscan heritage. This education and the individual attention paid to each student makes a Viterbo education unique and impactful. Our honorees today are living examples of the power of a Viterbo education. Barb, Sue, Sister Georgia, Colin, Andrew, Lindsay, Michelle, Juan, Scott, and Dean, we are so proud of you, your accomplishments to date, and the impact that you will continue to have on a world that so desperately needs your talents, your passions, and your skills. Enjoy this special day. Capture this moment in your mind and create a memory that will sustain you in the days, weeks, years ahead. In closing, always remember that while your address may have changed many times in the last several years, your home and permanent address will always be 900 Viterbo Drive, La Crosse, Wisconsin, 54601. We hope you come home often. God bless all of you. Pace bene, peace and all good. Go V-Hawks.
Thank you, Rick. The first Viterbo University Alumni Award was presented in 1967, and over the years since then, this honor has been bestowed upon alumni from a wide variety of professions. Recipients aren't given distinguished alumni awards. Rather, recipients have earned them through their outstanding contributions to their professions, their willingness to serve as advocates and the voice for our least privileged brothers and sisters, and their unfailing devotion to the Franciscan ideals we all hold dear. They are servant leaders who consistently put the lives of others first. To these individuals, servant leadership is a way of life. Could all of our past Distinguished Alumni Award recipients who are here with us today please stand so we can recognize you? All of you are such a light of hope that we could see you in the dark. Today, we are privileged to add to this esteemed list, and it's our pleasure to introduce this year's Distinguished Alumni Award winners. Our first honoree today is Andrew Santoso, a rising professional honored by the College of Engineering, Letters, and Sciences. Andrew graduated from Viterbo in 2013 with a bachelor's degree in mathematical physics, a path he pursued thanks to the guidance from an astute Viterbo advisor who recognized in Andrew a gift for scientific inquiry and a strong drive to serve people. From Viterbo, Andrew's educational journey took him to Wayne State University, where he earned a master's degree in medical physics in 2015, and then to the University of Wisconsin in Madison, where he completed work on a doctoral degree in medical physics in 2019. Andrew is now an assistant professor of medical physics at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, serving as lead physicist at the university's medical center, ensuring that patients there get unparalleled radiation therapy treatment. He also is involved in research to improve cancer therapy and reviews submissions for publication in several scientific journals. He and his wife, Chrissy, a 2015 graduate of Viterbo's Community Medical Dietetics Program, welcomed their daughter, Phoebe, into their family in January. Congratulations, Andrew and Chrissy.
Joys of being short. Hope that didn't upset anyone in AV. Hi, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the College of Engineering, Letters, and Sciences for this award. One more time. When I found out I received the Rising Professional Award, my family and I were recovering from COVID, and it felt like a fever dream. I'm truly grateful that it's real and feel so lucky to be here. Where so many pivotal moments in my life happened, and to share this with my family, including my lovely wife, who is also a Viterbo grad, and our daughter turned 9 months today, so it feels super surreal. This award gave me an opportunity to pause and reflect on my time in academia, which feels like it's gone by in the blink of an eye. But 14 years really adds up. In the past few years, topics like mentorship, equity, diversity, and inclusion have found their way into both the limelight and universities across this country. To that point, the importance of these topics has always been ingrained in Viterbo's DNA, and my mentors Sheldon Lee and Anthony Gehrig went beyond the classroom and provided research opportunities that catapulted my critical thinking and problem-solving skills to the next level. In general, I don't like bragging about myself, but when I went to grad school, it was funny how someone like me, who was one of 2 graduating mathematical physics majors, would often be the go-to person in class for working on homework and exam prep. No doubt, I put in the work, spending hours on the second floor of the Reinhardt Center, working out fundamental physics problems on chalkboards, like finding solutions to partial differential equations. But without the support of family and peers and mentors, I wouldn't be here. And now, as an assistant professor in radiation oncology, helping treat cancer patients at the University of Colorado, I find myself being the person that fills the gaps. I'm often the first one on my team looking for solutions to clinical problems, always asking how we can make things more efficient while maintaining high quality, safe care for our patients. I'm always thinking about how we can better educate our doctors so they feel empowered in their practice while recognizing the importance and value others bring to dealing with cancer. And the part of me I'm proudest of is how I try to approach life with an empathetic lens. It's funny how when I was first applying to colleges, my thoughts around Viterbo were, oh, that's the college that's down the road where I'll sometimes listen to speakers or go to a show. And there was just a feeling that I wanted to be near my grandmother in Onalaska, who raised me since I was a young boy. Who could have possibly known that the college down the road would play such an important role in my life? Thanks for taking the time to listen to my story, and thanks again for this incredible honor.
Andrew, thank you for your eloquence and your commitment to healing each and every day. This year's other Rising Professional Award from the Conservatory for the Performing Arts goes to Colin Huth, who came to Viterbo from Richland Center, where his family had a highly respected cattle operation that goes back 4 generations. When I had him in class, I hinted regularly that I enjoyed sirloin. Don't worry, I didn't offer extra credit for a steak, but I still like sirloin. 2 older brothers, Kyle and Cole, each earned a Viterbo degree before Colin, but Colin topped them. He earned 2 Viterbo degrees. Colin has the distinction of being the first student in Viterbo's 4+1 MBA program in healthcare leadership. He earned his bachelor's degree in healthcare and wellness management in 2021, and a year later completed his MBA. He wasted no time in putting his Viterbo education to good use, landing a position as Chief Financial Officer at Jackson County Regional Health Center in Maquoketa, Iowa. I bet you're surprised that I know where Maquoketa is. As the person who nominated Colin for this award noted, Colin has had great success in each position he has held. When asked about his success, he always credits it back to the strong values that Viterbo instilled in him. Congratulations, Colin.
Well, thank you, Tom, and the sirloin's coming, I promise. Well, good afternoon. I'm humbled, honored, and privileged to be standing in front of you today, receiving the College of Business, Leadership, and Ethics Rising Professional Award. As I read about and spend time with the other alumni award winners and enjoy lunch together, I'm just honestly incredibly impacted by your stories and everything that you've done throughout your career. The 5 core values that Viterbo instills each and every student, which are contemplation, hospitality, integrity, service, stewardship, and that is why Viterbo students are recognized across the world. In 2017, Mom, Dad, and I loaded up the truck, and we were headed to La Crosse to move into the luxurious Marion Hall. On the ride from Richland Center up to La Crosse, I remember being reminded for that hour and a half of all the things not to do in college. I guess they had a lot of experience with my 2 older brothers that also graduated from Viterbo. When we arrived onto campus, the nerves stopped as the hospitality was second to none, and I could tell this was going to be home for the next 4 years. The Viterbo community is special in that they truly care and want what's best for each and every student. In 2018, I realized that Viterbo was not cheap. Kathy Derwachter in the alumni office welcomed me with open arms, a position in assisting alumni all over the world. Events such as these have came full circle, as not too long ago, I was serving and making sure these alumni winners had the best day possible. It's truly an honor to be standing here with these servant leaders. Kathy taught me in this role the importance of relationships, and still to this day, that's some of the most influential advice I've received. In 2020, Dr. Dale Craig Schmidt and Teresa Bubbers encouraged me to be the first 4+1 student to complete the MBA in Healthcare Leadership program. This was the best choice, as obviously I would not be here today without that encouragement. During that time frame, I worked at Gunderson Health System, which why this award is even more very special to me, as I get to share the stage with the CEO, Dr. Scott Rathgaber. In the master's program, I was in a servant leadership class with Tom Thibodeau, and I'll never forget when he said, while Viterbo is great, there's a lot of things you will learn in this time that is not in a textbook or in the 4 walls of this classroom. At first, I thought he was talking about those late nights downtown with the buddies. Lexi and Blake, no sharing stories. The next week, or the library downtown, the historical Oktoberfest. I was wrong, as Tom had, and the good Lord had a plan. The next week, I had a meeting with Todd Ondell, my advisor, for the semester check-in. And he asked me one question, which was, what are your long-term goals? I said, well, Todd, I know it's a long shot, but I want to be a CEO or a CFO at a hospital someday. because I said I believe I can serve the most amount of people in that role. In typical Mr. Ondell fashion, he says, well, are you interested in achieving those goals, or are you committed to achieving those goals? I stopped and I said, well, what's the difference? He said, if you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. You'll use the excuse and the reasons like you're a first-generation college student, you came from a small farming town. But he said, if you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. That was my Viterbo inspiration. Lastly, I'd like to say a big thank you to my friends and family that are here today, because without you, none of this would be possible. Mom and Dad, thank you for pushing me to always become the best I can be. Kyle and Cole, thank you for setting high standards and being the best two brothers I could ask for. Sam's family, thank you for being so supportive, the love and the care that you've always shown. And Sam, I truly have no words, as you're my better half. Finally, thank you to the fellow alums for letting me share the stage with you today and keep using our roots here at Viterbo to change the world. Thank you.
I was just kidding about the steak. But seriously, that commitment to feeding the world that you learned growing up on that farm serves all of us so very well and continues to serve the people of Jackson County, who are so fortunate to have you. Thank you. Again, this year, each of Viterbo's 5 colleges are honoring alumni with Professional Achievement Awards. First, we have a Professional Achievement Award from the College of Business Leadership and Ethics for Dr. Scott Rathgaber, who earned a Master of Arts in Servant Leadership in 2022. A guy who does colonoscopies. Scott became Gunderson Health Systems CEO in 2015, a responsibility he approached with humility and a desire to be the best leader that he could. To that end, 30 years after earning his doctoral degree, he came back to school here at Viterbo, and I had the privilege of having him as a student. I have known Scott to be a scholar and a gentleman who treats everyone he serves with dignity and respect, and he always is committed to a good greater than himself. This last year, under his leadership, there has been a merger between Gunderson Health Systems and Bellin Health Systems, both health systems on the eastern and western part of the state of Wisconsin, who are particularly committed to rural health care. He has served as in a medical institution, but has also served us well as a member of our Board of Trustees. He could not be with us here today to accept this award. He's at his son's wedding in California. But he wanted to share his thoughts with us through a video that he prepared. Here it is.
Hello to all in attendance. It is a great honor to receive Viterbo's Distinguished Alumni Award. I regret I am unable to join you in person. My son is getting married tomorrow, so Mary and I are celebrating that milestone in California. I am a recent graduate of Viterbo with a Master's of Servant Leadership degree, but I believe I have been on a leadership journey my entire adult life, which was expanded and significantly enhanced by Viterbo. I was handed the keys of leadership to Gunderson Health System in 2015 when I was selected as the CEO. This was a great responsibility, and I knew I would need help. Sandy Brecky was a colleague I knew from the St. Clair Health Mission, and she introduced me to servant leadership and the writings of Robert Greenleaf. She was enrolled in the master's program. At her urging, I reached out to Tom Thibodeau to ask if he would act as a leadership mentor for me, a complete stranger. As you would imagine, Tom enthusiastically agreed to spend time helping me grow as a leader. Through many dinners at Schmitty's, we wrestled with the challenges of my world, and he would often supplement his wisdom with readings on servant leadership. The impact of his teaching and friendship is immeasurable, as it resonated with everyone I came in contact with through my job. He was a blessing in my life and to those he would never meet. You see, I had learned that a leader can influence many people with how they lead. They can make people's journey better or worse. With Tom's guidance, I led better, and the lives of those I served through leadership were better as a result. There came a time when I had an epiphany over a fish sandwich. If I could get such benefit from these dinners, how much more could I learn by taking the courses? I believe God placed this opportunity in front of me in a program I could receive nowhere else in the country. It was only up to me to accept this gift. I am so glad that I did. I learned so much more about myself, service, leadership, and the Franciscan values that guide Viterbo. I owe so much to Tom and Rick Kite for filling me with knowledge and encouraging me to thrive. As important, the other students were great teachers as well. I am in awe of the goodness found in each of them and know our world will be better because they are in it. I am a bit late to the servant leadership party. They have whole careers in front of them to influence others. I am an oddity that received my master's degree 34 years after my doctorate. But I will spend the rest of my life applying the knowledge I received at Viterbo as I strive to master servant leadership. Thank you for supporting this unique educational opportunity. It certainly cultivates the creation of instruments of peace. I am forever in your debt. Enjoy the time together in community and celebration. I salute you all, and may God bless you for the service you provide to our community.
I would like to share something that comes from my 41 years of being here. There's a mutuality in this Viterbo community that comes from the FSPA. It's all grace. Whatever you give away comes back to you. Scott is my friend, had him in class, and at the beginning of COVID, my wife had a stroke. Because of COVID, I could not be with her. I called my friend Scott, who went to Priscilla's room, talked with her doctors, called me, and said, Priscilla's going to be fine. Thank you, Scott, for your leadership, for your service, for your friendship, for your grace. This year, the College of Engineering, Letters, and Sciences honors Michelle Reichert with a Professional Achievement Award. As a Viterbo sophomore, Michelle Reichert did an internship in Washington State that involved studying the effects of radiation on the human body. It was a turning point for her, and after graduating from Viterbo in 1986 with a degree in biology and minors in chemistry and math, she earned a radiological health physics master's degree program at the University of Florida. During a career dedicated to nuclear safety and security, Michelle rose through the ranks in a male-dominated field. In 2020, she was named the first female chief executive officer of Consolidated Nuclear Security, a company with more than 11,000 employees that is one of the nation's largest federal contractors. She retired from that position in 2022, capping a distinguished career. Please join me in congratulating Michelle Reichert.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Traitley, and the leadership of the College of Engineering, Letters, and Sciences for the recognition as a distinguished alumnus. I'm truly honored. I'd also like to extend my congratulations to my fellow distinguished alumni, Viterbo graduates. We had a great time at lunch, told lots of stories amongst some of us that have known each other for a while. My Viterbo journey actually started when I was in the 2nd grade. I visited Viterbo with my grandmother to visit her cousin, her first cousin, Sister Margaret Ann Schlosser, which many of the sisters here today probably remember Sister Margaret Ann. She was a Viterbo alum and an educator and an incredibly gifted artist. I had fond memories of touring the campus, visiting the chapel, and attending my very first live stage production in this building of The King and I. Kind of came full circle. We were at the production last night, and if you haven't been, go. It's fabulous. Memories of that visit stayed with me throughout my school years, and Viterbo was always in the back of my mind as a potential place that I would call home for my college education. Not only was it due to those memories, but also the incredible academic strength of Viterbo and the size of the campus. You see, I grew up in Minong, Wisconsin, population 420. We all knew each other and everything about each other. So this campus was not only appealing to me, I think it was a little bit comforting. As a freshman, we made friends very quickly. In fact, I met Dean my first day on campus. Have wonderful memories of my time in La Crosse with incredible friends and roommates. In fact, one of my college roommates, Lynette, is here with us today. When we weren't in class or studying, we were on adventures in this area. We actually hiked up Granddad's Bluff, and I mean, we walked from here to the top and back down. Crazy, exhausting, but it was fun. We walked along the river. We attended Oktoberfest, events in the Fine Arts Center, enjoying Rocky Rococo's pizza, Uncle Munchie's subs, which I don't think exists anymore, and having great times, probably hate to say, on 3rd Street, but we had a lot of fun on 3rd Street. Our professors and the staff took an active interest in each and every one of us, and their doors were always open. It's a time of discovery, and you're not really sure what you want to be when you grow up, and they were so much help. Dr. Malik, Dr. Kowalski, and Linda Shams were instrumental in developing my interest in human anatomy and physiology, so much so that I changed my major to biology and with a minor in chemistry. Dr. Slock instilled the importance of the scientific process, to hypothesize, to research, to make data-driven decisions. These caring leaders and their thought processes were instilled in me, and I carried them forward to graduate school and as I pursued my career in protecting human health. Interestingly enough, even though there's not a medical physics degree here or a health physics degree, Andrew and I ended up pursuing parallel paths in our education, in our background, which is really a tribute to the strength of the science program here at Viterbo. Not only did Viterbo and La Crosse prepare me for what was to become a very interesting and rewarding career, I met my husband Dan here during my freshman year. Don't hold it against him, but he's a graduate of the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. Together we have raised 2 incredible young men, Nicholas and Nathan, who are both getting married next year, so pray for me in my checkbook. Dan and I are now retired and enjoying traveling, exploring the world, learning about other cultures, and meeting very interesting people. I'd like to thank and recognize Viterbo for continuing to be an educational body that not only prepares its students for their career, but teaches them to value servant leadership, and we've heard a lot about that today. Community engagement and commitment in caring for our fellow man. And not too many institutions of learning instill all of that in their graduates. For that, I say thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. The word science comes from the word to know, and religion comes from the 2 Latin words religio, which means to bind up. And what you have done is you wedded your love of science and knowledge with your compassion to serve, and all of our lives are blessed because of your presence. When you and Dean first arrived from smaller towns, your parents were comforted that our security guard was named Pinky. I didn't make that up. The College of Nursing and Health this year honors Lindsay Sanger Clements with its Professional Achievement Award. Lindsay came to Viterbo for the same reason so many students do. It felt like home. But it felt like home to Lindsay because of her mother, Chris, and her dad, David, who have been fixtures, cornerstones of this community for the past 42 years. They are so very proud of you. She graduated in 2008 with a degree in nursing and a passion for cardiac and critical care. She put her skills to work caring for cardiac patients at the University of Kansas Medical Center and Regents Hospital in St. Paul. A personal experience made her rethink her priorities, and she switched to labor and delivery. In her work at Gunderson Health System, she helps bring new life into the world and dedicates herself to helping parents wrestling with loss through Gunderson's perinatal bereavement program. Here's what a fellow labor and delivery nurse had to say about Lindsay. Lindsay cares for patients with an unmatched love and understanding and always leads with empathy and a patient-forward approach. Lindsay and her husband Zach met on her first day of classes at Viterbo. I wonder what kind of icebreaker that was. He earned his nursing degree and went on to medical school, and he's now a doctor at Gunderson. And Lindsay and Zach are now raising 3 beautiful children. You should see them on Sundays at San Damiano. Please give a warm welcome to Lindsay Clements.
So thank you. I have thought so many times about what I would say tonight, and there is so much I could say. I have thought about what this award represents not only for myself, but for all of those who have gotten me to this moment. To say that I am honored, that I am humbled is an understatement, and I am truly so humbled by this recognition. I have struggled to search for what sets me apart from so many amazing and compassionate nurses. Really, it is nothing extraordinary that I'm doing. I say this because doing the extraordinary in the lives of complete strangers is what we trained for, especially as a Viterbo nurse. We are given an incredible opportunity to enter into both the hardest and sometimes most joyous times of people's lives, and that is truly something special. And that gets to be our job every day. I have learned with and from some of the very best, and I have undoubtedly been shaped by being witness to their care and compassion for others. So tonight, I want to dedicate this to my nursing professors, my colleagues, and my family of Viterbo nurses. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize a few of them here with me tonight because I know if any of their patients or colleagues would have wrote you how amazing their care is, the School of Nursing would have had a very hard time choosing just one of us to receive this honor. There's my husband, Zach, a nurse, now brilliant doctor. My sister-in-law, Emily, who I've gotten to work alongside and has an unmatched bedside manner. My 2 brother-in-laws, who are now CRNAs. Jake, who has an ability to make anyone feel comfortable the moment he walks in. And Sam, who would so graciously walk me to my car in the kitty litter at KU after he worked tirelessly all shift to work for the tenderhearted in the cardiothoracic ICU. You are incredible, and I love you. And my mother-in-law, Julie, you have set the standard of compassionate care. She was an incredible nurse practitioner, and teacher. She is so deeply missed by all of us and continuously by the patients who sought her care. I could only hope to make such a lasting impact. I also want to dedicate this to my patients, the ones that have been so willing and gracious to let me into their lives, the ones who have trusted me to care for them mind, body, and spirit, sometimes for a brief moment, and others time and time again. I have been a nurse now for 15 years, and the patients I carry with me would make quite a list. I remember many of their names and see so many of their faces, and I keep many of their stories with me. They have taught me resilience, perseverance, strength, and courage. I have been privileged to care for so many beautiful souls. Mahatma Gandhi so wisely said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others," and I couldn't find this to be more true. My absolute favorite experiences are the ones of deep connection and compassionate care with patients that makes it feel as if nothing else matters outside of this moment with them. Whether it be staying well past my shift with a patient who just experienced something traumatic because they just don't want me to go, or helping someone realize in moments of fear and the unthinkable that they absolutely have the strength to do the incredibly hard things. To be that safe space and to be fully and holistically engaged in their care is when I feel most reassured that I am doing what God set out for me to do. Compassion for others was always part of God's plan for me, but I wasn't sure how I would fulfill it. I was always intrigued by science and biology, and I always loved people, but I never felt smart enough to pursue anything in healthcare. I never felt capable or extraordinary. It was with growing curiosity, a search for purpose in meaning, and the encouragement from others that I took a leap of faith, changing my major to nursing, and it remains one of the best decisions of my life. I have no doubt that while care for others was innate in me, the foundation of the nurse I have become was shaped right here in this nursing program. I have no question that if I were anywhere else receiving my education, I would not be who I am today. My professors instilled confidence and curiosity in me. They lit the fire and desire of compassionate care. They showed me that I was smart and encouraged me to go above and beyond. They stressed the importance of always caring for the whole person, of digging deeper, of doing better, of being that nurse who is capable of meeting any patient where they are at any time we enter their lives. They showed me that they cared about me. To be recognized as a distinguished alumni from School of Nursing here at Viterbo is truly a testament to the education that I received. It is even more a testament to the ones who educated me and the ones I learned alongside. So with deepest sincerity, I thank you for this incredible honor, and I promise to continue to go out and do the extraordinary every day I get to go to work.
Lindsay, service is love made visible, and you are a reflection of the legacy of the Clements and the Sangers, whose lives have been dedicated to service and love wherever they are, whomever they're with. Your prayerful presence is a gift to all of us. Thank you. This year, the School of Education honors Juan Jimenez for his professional achievements. When he came to Viterbo, Juan saw his future as a math teacher. After earning his bachelor's degree in mathematics education in 2001, he did indeed go to work as a math teacher. In time, Juan felt called to serve in the educational leadership arena. He returned to Viterbo for a master's degree in educational leadership and later earned a doctoral degree in developmental education administration from Sam Houston State University. Today, Juan is Associate Dean of Health and Public Safety at Western Technical College. Juan has taken all of Viterbo's core values to heart, perhaps none more than service. He is in his second term serving on the La Crosse School Board, and he serves on the boards of directors for Leader Ethics, Marine Credit Union Foundation, and National College Learning Center Association. Juan has also been an active volunteer at the La Crosse Warming Center and previously served on boards of La Crosse Promise and the Wisconsin Humanities Council. Juan has also been of great service to Viterbo. In addition to volunteering at numerous campus events, he served for more than 12 years on Viterbo's Board of Advisors and was a Viterbo Alumni Association Board of Directors for 6 years, including 2 as president. One of the more rewarding Viterbo activities Juan participated in was an alumni pilgrimage to Assisi, where he met his wife, Kristen, a graduate of Viterbo's nursing school. Juan and Kristen returned to their roots in Italy and were married there in 2016. Holy smokes. Congratulations, Juan.
You can't take the educator out of me, so I took a little bit of a different tact on my speech. So how would you answer this interview question? How would you advocate for someone who is accused of doing something against your morals or ethics? Back in 2010, a few months prior to delivering an alumni address, I got a phone call. One of my union members was accused of a crime and was arrested. The reason I think about that moment is because it was one of the first times in my life when I had to seriously consider how to advocate for someone accused of doing something that is against my morals and ethics. This individual lost their family, their congregation, and their home, and was acquitted 3 years later. I discovered there was evidence that the union member was innocent. The accuser wanted to have a spot in the organization open up for their friend to be hired. Now consider what went through your mind when you heard this. Did any of you think, upon hearing the acquittal, that bad people should never be let off the hook? Did any of you stop to consider the word accused? In my time at Viterbo, I was taught many things. Question everything, especially by asking two questions. So what, and why is it important? Thank you, Dr. Earl Mederi. I was also taught that words have meaning, and you need to dig deep into the text to truly understand the intent of the writer. However, your job is only half done if you forget to consider the impact of the reader. Thank you, Dr. April Denny. If you do not stop to consider where you came from, how do you know where you're going? We will be doomed to repeat mistakes if we fail to look to the past. Thank you, Dr. Keith Knutson. The greatest learning came from the FSPA, the faculty, and all the staff who showed us how to have compassion, care, and support of others, to be considerate. They also taught us not to be afraid to speak truth to power, to stand up and use our individual voice for the common good. For what good are your morals and ethics if you refuse to take action when it's most necessary? Dr. Mederi's Teacher of the Year speech is one I always look to for the most succinct commentary of what Viterbo means to those of us who believe in this institution to our core. And I quote, "We wish you iron, the iron of your convictions and ideas. Never forget, however, the iron of mercy. You will never regret the mercy you give, while I promise you will always regret those you have judged. We demand that you be extraordinary. We insist that you use the privilege of education to build the common good. Please don't fear failure. Learn, 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 and learn again. Find a worthy purpose or cause and crash yourself against it. Don't be afraid to be broken. Be brave." As an educator, I live every day hoping that tomorrow I can live into being even 1/10 as impactful as the educators on whose shoulders I stand. I carry with me the duty to live the Viterbo values to lift others up on their academic, career, and life journey. And I refuse to back down in ensuring everyone who walks through my doorway is given the opportunity to be successful, for Saints Francis and Clare expect no less of us. My hope is that you leave this place listening to the voices of the past, unafraid to add your voice to the Viterbo story. So thank you to Viterbo for this tremendous honor. Thank you to my family, Christine, Hannah, Jacob, and their significant others, Brooke and Joe. Congratulations to my fellow colleagues on stage. Thank you.
One, you are a professional educator in the best frame of the word. Education comes from two Latin words, educare, to lead from darkness to light, from confusion to clarity. From darkness to light, from confusion to clarity, from ignorance to knowledge. And we've watched you do this at Western, at Viterbo, and in our community these many years. Thank you so very much. The Conservatory for the Performing Arts this year honors Dean Yonk for professional achievement during a distinguished career in the realm of higher education and theater. After graduating from Viterbo in 1987 with a bachelor's degree in theater, arts, and English education, Dean taught in the Jefferson School District for 2 years. He then moved to Ohio to pursue a master's and doctoral degrees in theater arts at Bowling Green State University. From 1992 to 2001, Dean was back at Viterbo to begin his remarkable career in higher education, serving as an assistant professor and chair of the theater and musical theater departments. During his tenure at Viterbo, he received the university's Teacher of the Year Award along with other state and national honors. From Viterbo, Dean moved to the University of Wisconsin system, starting in Kenosha before moving on to Barron County, Superior, and finally River Falls, from which he retired this year as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. In addition to teaching and serving as a university administrator, Dean directed and designed more than 100 professional, community, and university theater productions. Over the course of his 3 decades in higher education, Dean has been recognized with numerous honors for his community service, his teaching, his leadership, and theater work. Today, we add another well-earned honor. Congratulations, Dean Dean.
Well, thank you so much, Tom. It is truly an honor to be introduced by one of my favorite teachers, started the same year as I was a freshman, like to point out, and also one of my great colleagues here when I was a faculty member. Amazingly, you don't seem to have aged at all in 40 years. I wish I could say that. I would also like to thank President Treitley and the faculty and staff in the amazing Conservatory for the Performing Arts, who have graciously blessed me with this much appreciated Distinguished Alumni Award. I would also like to thank deeply my family, my friends, my former teachers and colleagues who are here today, for without you, I would not be standing here. This honor is especially meaningful to me as an undergrad alum of this great institution who later returned home to serve as a faculty member and department chair in what has now become one of the finest theater and music theater programs in the nation. My recent retirement as a university theater professor and college academic dean, following a 35-year career, makes this recognition even more meaningful to me. I first discovered Viterbo in 1980 when I was considering where I would go to college following my graduation from Cornell High School in rural north central Wisconsin. As the first member of my farm family to go to college, I was very interested in finding a small, high quality, welcoming, and affordable school that would offer me opportunities to learn more about the world and to find my personal pathway to a rewarding life and career. Now, I have to tell you, I was determined to attend a Catholic college, which was honestly a rebellion against my very conservative evangelical Lutheran upbringing. Thankfully, my beloved late parents, Roy and Alice, supported my desire to attend the college of my choice, even if it was Catholic, and join me on campus visits to 7 outstanding Catholic colleges in Wisconsin and Minnesota. When I first arrived at Viterbo College, we were immediately impressed by the beauty of this school and the warm and genuine welcome that we received from admissions counselor Pat Hageman Chilson, who is one of my very special guests here today. I knew, as did my parents, that it was Pat's genuine passion for this school and her clear support for me as a person that helped seal the deal for me to attend Viterbo. Thank you, Pat, for drawing me into the Viterbo family. Following my Viterbo visit, I enthusiastically ran back to my high school and my beloved favorite high school teacher, Mrs. Vita Sherry, and told her that I had found the perfect school for me. I am so blessed that Mrs. Sherry is able to be here with me today to share in this moment. Mrs. Sherry, Vita, I dreamed of becoming an inspiring and passionate English and theater teacher just like you. And I hope that I have inspired as many students as you have. When I arrived at Viterbo as that fresh-eyed freshman in the fall of 1982, not partying with Michelle Pixley, I soon discovered that all 6 of my professors that semester were Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. Now, please remember that I was raised as a good Lutheran boy, and I had never actually met a real nun in person. Well, I was initially a bit intimidated by the thought of having nuns as teachers. I soon discovered that these amazing, intelligent women were highly skilled educators who truly believed that the comprehensive education of their students was core to their calling and their mission. While I had many amazing FSPA as teachers and colleagues at Viterbo, the late Sister Marie-Leanne LaCroix and the late Sister Jean Moore perhaps had the greatest lasting impact on me. Sister Marie-Leanne joyfully shared her vast knowledge and love of theater with me and helped me to study and to apply the knowledge and skills that I would need to be a successful theater teacher and artist. Sister Marie-Leanne remained my dear friend, mentor, and spiritual guide until her passing a few years ago at the young age of 99, which is young for a sister, I would like to point out. Sister Marie-Leanne's vitality and feisty determination to live life to the fullest and with great joy continues to inspire me every day. Sister Jean Moore, a bit younger than Sister Marie-Leanne, inspired me to learn more about the Spanish language and Spanish cultures of the world. She invited me to join her as a teaching assistant at the Viterbo Summer Spanish Immersion Camp that she led in Marshfield, Wisconsin. She later invited me to participate in 2 summer volunteer experiences that, quite frankly, were life-changing. One at Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish in South St. Paul, helping migrants from Mexico and Central America find new and safe places to live and raise their families. Sister Jean also invited me to join her for a summer-long stay in Mexico, where we helped build homes and cultural connections in the very poor barrios of Mexico City. Later, as a faculty member, I traveled with dear Sister Jean to Assisi in Rome, Italy, for 3 weeks on a pilgrimage that focused on learning more about our Franciscan heritage and legacy. Although Sister Jean passed away far too soon a few years ago, her spirit of compassion and appreciation for diverse cultures helps to shape my views of the common good, making a better world, and seeing each other with humanity and humility. I am truly honored to receive this Distinguished Alumni Award from Viterbo University and its outstanding Conservatory for the Fine Arts. Today, I am fortunate to be able to return home once again to witness the continued growth and achievements of the students, faculty, and staff in these amazing performing arts programs, and I can hardly wait to see 42nd Street tonight. Viterbo is truly continuing the legacy that was established by the FSPA, their colleagues, and their students over the last 134 years. Thank you, Viterbo. I am forever grateful to call this place home.
To all my colleagues on the faculty, aren't you kind of asking yourselves right now, how did we become so blessed to have these marvelous people in our lives as students? We should have been paying you tuition. Dean, one of my favorite quotes I'd like to share with you tonight because you lived this out. It's from Abraham Heschel, the Jewish rabbi, was asked, do you have a word of hope for the next generation? He said, teach them this. Every deed counts. Every word has power. And above all, teach them to build their lives as if it were a work of art. And you have spent a lifetime helping us to see the beauty and goodness of humanity. Thank you. Congratulations to all of our Rising Professional and Professional Development Award winners. And this year we honor two people with Distinguished Alumni Awards in the category of service to the university. Barbara Quillen and her late husband Phil were honored by Viterbo University in 2014 with the St. John XXIII Award in recognition for their philanthropy in the community. This year we honor Barb for her impact at Viterbo. In addition to serving on Viterbo's Board of Advisors, Barb has supported Viterbo's mission for 3 decades, including donations for the Brophy Center renovation for the Dahl School of Business, the building of the Nursing Center and the Amy L. Matthews Center, and the establishment of the Sister Thea Bowman Center and the FSPA Prayer Garden. She also has a long history of support for the Viterbo Fund and Stars of the Arts, as well as being a key sponsor for the new senior soiree with the President's Tradition. Barb studied at nursing at Viterbo and has long been inspired by the FSPA and all the sisters have done at Viterbo and beyond. Barb was not able to be with us tonight, but she had this to say about her support for Viterbo. With the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration setting such an amazing example, we felt it was our family's calling to give back and serve this wonderful community. Thank you, Barb Quillen. The other Service to the University Award tonight goes to FSPA member who definitely has set an amazing example for all of us, Sister Georgia Christensen. As she walked in, she said, "Now, Tom, you behave." I said, "I'll try." Sister Georgia launched her incredible career as an educator after graduating from Viterbo in 1970 with a degree in mathematics and a chemistry minor. She taught at schools in Iowa and La Crosse for 3 years before she was called to Spokane, Washington, where she taught for 11 years and earned a master's degree in educational administration. The next stop on her journey was California, where she served as principal in Palo Alto and an assistant superintendent in Monterey, while completing a doctoral degree in education administration and policy analysis at Stanford University in 1995. From 1995 to 2000, Sister Georgia worked as staff development officer and instructor at a Catholic college in Zimbabwe. She has also served as consultant and educator with the Tertiary Sisters of St. Francis in Cameroon from 1999 to 2018. Sister Georgia's service to Viterbo began in 1987 when she started teaching summer sessions for the Masters of Arts degree program in education. Since 2000, she has served in multiple roles at Viterbo, including Director of Institutional Research, Dean of the School of Graduate Professional Adult Education, and teaching classes in religious studies, philosophy, education, and servant leadership. She continues to serve Viterbo as a member of the university's Board of Trustees, and as FSPA Vice President, she serves on the board of Viterbo Ministries. You can see her supporting a variety of events at Viterbo all year long. Sister Georgia, we're so grateful for your support. Georgia, whenever you show up, things just get better. You're that kind of person. Okay, I can't contain myself any longer. We first met on a road trip to Appleton, Wisconsin, to teach on a Friday night and a Saturday. We had never met. Sister Georgia, hi, I'm Tom. I've heard about you, she said. We're driving across the state of Wisconsin, never once did we turn on the radio, all the way there and all the way back. Every time I'm in her presence, I'm uplifted by her joy, her dignity, and her grace. Congratulations, Sister Georgia Christensen.
You did pretty well. Thank you all. It's an honor to be here this afternoon. And I'm especially grateful to my Franciscan community and happy to see a number of you there, even in the dark. My local community of Franciscan sisters, my companion community of affiliates, and my fellow colleagues. This has just been wonderful, and I really appreciate that. And I think on Zoom, is my brother. And so thank you, too. He's contributed quite a bit to my upbringing, but I don't know if it's always been in a positive light. Gotcha. Anyway, as Tom said, my story began at Viterbo in 1959, when I joined the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. That was where we went to college. I started out as an elementary ed teacher with a math concentration. And somehow the community decided I was pretty good in math, so I should teach in high school. So they switched me to secondary education with a chemistry major and a math minor, because we didn't have math as a major at that time. Then we got a math major at Viterbo, so I got switched again and became a math major. All along, I ended up taking all of the elementary ed classes, all the secondary school classes, and finally graduated after beginning in 1959, slow learner, to 1970. But I made it. My Viterbo education at both levels and in all fields prepared me well for over 50 years of education in the field of education and further education, as Tom mentioned, which culminated in a PhD from Stanford University in California. I was privileged to minister as an elementary and secondary school teacher and principal, as a superintendent, assistant superintendent, as a member of Viterbo's administrative cadre and teaching staff. And as Tom mentioned, I had a stint in Africa for 5 years, which was life-changing. I've served over 20 years as a regional peer reviewer for colleges and universities for the Higher Learning Commission. My postgraduate connection with Viterbo started by co-teaching with Tom in the Master of Arts of Servant Leadership Education program in 1987. We then taught together in the Master of Arts of Servant Leadership program. I was hired at Viterbo in 2000 as the Director of Institutional Research and Assessment And over my years at Viterbo, 12 years of Viterbo, I mentioned to the group today at lunch, I had 11 name tags. I kept on getting changed from one position to the next. I don't know, something instability or what, I'm not sure, but my last name tag said Dean of the School of Graduate Professional and Adult Education. And that ended when Viterbo changed from schools to colleges. And it was at that time that the community, my religious community, called me across the street to serve as congregational secretary. And now I am serving as the vice president for our congregation. This particular recognition is for service to the university. Well, I never looked at any of my connections with Viterbo as service, but as ministry, as an opportunity to share the gifts and talents that had been nurtured at Viterbo with the university. As a member of FSPA's corporate structure since 2012, I've served on the sponsoring board, of the institution, and currently serving as a member of the Board of Trustees in Viterbo Ministries. My experience with the Higher Learning Commission has provided me numerous opportunities over the years to assist with the accreditation process here at Viterbo. Even, as Sister Helen, who's in the audience, can attest to, even reviewing one of the reports while we were on a cruise ship in Alaska. I've had the privilege of attending cultural events here, sporting events, and other enriching opportunities at Viterbo. In fact, this past weekend it was kind of cold, but I sat through the soccer game, and sadly we didn't win, but it was fun to be there with the guys. While as a student at Viterbo, I remember numerous professors, lay and religious, who spent extra time with me because I was on such a strange trajectory. I had to take several classes at UWL because they weren't offered at Viterbo at the time. And yet the Viterbo professors were the ones who helped me through to the path of graduation. I decided to examine my relationship with Viterbo today through the lens of their values. Contemplation is reflected each day for me as I pray for the Viterbo community, especially on Monday mornings when I have my 7 a.m. adoration hour in the chapel across the street. I experience hospitality every time I step onto the campus, walk to work, I live down the street, or participate in any of the events. I tried a little experiment the other morning on my way to work. I said, I'm not going to speak to anyone unless they speak to me first. Well, it was a very noisy conversation with students on the way to work. It was not quiet at all. It was amazing how often the students will just say, hello, good morning, how are you? They're passing on these traditions. I know Viterbo University has experienced a number of challenges over the years, but I've been impressed how integrity has been a guiding force in addressing difficult issues, and I thank Rick and Father Conrad for helping with that. One can't help but see how service is so active at Viterbo, not only with the wide way that students and faculty and staff participate in service Saturdays, but the many big and small ways that the university serves the community and individuals. And I'm also impressed with the various evidences of stewardship. I see your grounds people daily surveying the campus to see what needs attention, rain, shine, or snow. I see your food service people creatively preparing gifts of the earth in a responsible, tasty manner, of which we all enjoyed a lunch. I'm honored to be sharing the stage with such distinguished colleagues. You each have made and continue to make Viterbo a special gift, not only to its students, but to the wider world beyond, in numerous fields that contribute to the good of humanity, and truly show that Viterbo University educates students for faithful service and ethical leadership. Thank you.
You know, Georgia, you're just amazing, and I really appreciate when you're on campus that your office would change so often that I would get my steps and try to find where you were. A vowed life means that you take a vow of obedience. Comes from the Latin word obedire, which means to listen. And I think one of your most enduring characteristics is that you listen to everyone, people you agree with and people you don't agree with, but you've listened with dignity and respect and deep love. Thank you so very much. We have one more person to honor this afternoon, and it is my distinct pleasure to present the Spirit of Francis Distinguished Alumni Award to Sue Graff. When Sue came to Viterbo, her grandfather urged her to study something practical, so she majored in business administration. After graduating in 1982, she began a career in banking, which I find hard to believe. She also felt a strong calling to the business of helping people in need. That calling kicked into high gear in 2011 after she volunteered at her church to prepare a meal to feed 15 people taking shelter at La Crosse's Winter Warming Center. She began working part-time as overnight coordinator for the Warming Center, and in 2018 took on a full-time role of coordinating the Franciscan Hospitality House, a daytime drop-in center in downtown La Crosse with people struggling with homelessness and poverty. At the House of Hospitality, people could get out of the cold or heat or something to eat, take a shower, do some laundry, and most importantly, get welcomed with a friendly smile and a kind word. The day after the pandemic forced the closure of the hospitality house, Sue loaded up her car with hand warmers, stocks, personal hygiene items, and ready-to-eat food and hit the streets with her own hospitality house on wheels. I guarantee right now, if you popped open the trunk on her car, all that stuff would be there. At first, Sue thought her mobile mission would be temporary just until a brick-and-mortar hospitality house could reopen. Instead, her ministry continued to grow, and in 2021, she officially started a nonprofit organization called WINN, W-I-N-N, short for What I Need Now, to serve unsheltered people in our region. When Sue goes out in the WINN van, she delivers a lot of basic essentials to people, things people need to survive, but the things that she can deliver don't nearly mean as much as letting know that someone cares about them as a person. Last night I had the honor of sitting next to her at dinner at the Place of Grace, and our guests kept coming up, and she talked to everyone, knowing their first name, their story, and where they had been that week, asking, is there anything I might be able to do to help? Since starting WIN, Sue has come back to Viterbo for the Servant Leadership Certificate, as well as a class in nonprofit leadership. But we can all learn lessons in leadership from her example. She truly embodies the spirit of St. Francis, and it's our pleasure to give her this award tonight. For St. Francis said, preach the gospel always, and only if necessary, use words. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you for the honor of receiving the Spirit of Francis Award. I really am deeply grateful. The Franciscan core values of prayer, contemplation, hospitality, integrity, stewardship, and serving others are goals that I aspire to daily as a person and in my service through WIN. I came to Viterbo in the fall of 1978 as a somewhat rebellious teen and recent graduate of La Crosse Central High School. I chose Viterbo so I could stay close to my grandparents who were very important in my life. My grandpa urged me to come to Viterbo, and once I was here, he decided to audit my financial management class. My grandpa was administrator of Lutheran Hospital, and my advisor and favorite professor, Marv Friedewald, and my grandpa became good friends, both of them brilliant and humble men. They often challenged each other with complex business and math problems. They didn't ask me. And in case you're wondering, if my grandpa would have received a grade in the class, it would have been an A+. I felt a true sense of belonging at Viterbo, a sense of community. The classes I took at Viterbo gave me a new perspective and opened my eyes to see the world in a different way. Contemporary moral issues with Alec Chu, Black American literature with Sister Celestine, and I developed a great love for live theater from Sister Marie. I made friends with students from other countries and continents and gained a broader perspective of the world. Viterbo gave me a well-rounded education for which I'm very grateful. About 12 years ago, I began to volunteer at a shelter. You guys kind of heard that part from Tom. But I really learned the true meaning of serving others alongside volunteers who had servant hearts, lived out their Franciscan values. Sister Rita, Sister Georgia, Sister Lori, Sister Sarah, Sister Karen, Ken Ford, and Annette Friedewald, the wife of my favorite business advisor back at Viterbo. And I was once again connected with the Viterbo community. I also enjoy the weekly prayer group at Place of Grace, where we reflect on the scripture reading and Franciscan values weekly with Father Conrad and Tom. When I lived with my dad on a farm out by Stoddard, he played WKTY radio continuously in the kitchen, 24/7 basically. Every day at noon I would hear this prayer, and eventually I memorized it. It is my compass in serving our unsheltered neighbors through the ministry of WIN. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there's darkness, light. Where there's sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. And thank you all, lots of friends here to see my special moment, and family, my husband Tim and daughters Angie and Rachel. Thank you all very much.
So she loads up a van every day, socks, hand warmers, whatever the Hunger Task Force is able to share, and goes and searches out our brothers and sisters. Now, it was cold and rainy today, and many of us would complain about that. But as we sit here in the warmth and the presence of each other, understand that not more than 2 miles from here, there are a number of our brothers and sisters who are in tents tonight. They're cold and they're wet, they're hungry. Let us never forget them. Sue has never forgot. Sue has reminded us that each of us is called to follow in the footsteps of Francis of Assisi and our Lord Jesus. Thank you, Sue. Congratulations to each of our recipients tonight. The work you do serves as an example of what it means to be a Viterbo alumnus. We are so glad that you could be with us and we could celebrate your accomplishments. Each of you, I'm sure, when you were notified of your award, knowing many of you personally, said, "I'm not worthy." It's your humility that is just so outstanding. Your goodness was on stage here tonight, felt in your words and your presence. We would not be who we are today at Viterbo without you, your example, your commitment, your love. You are the foundation of who we are becoming, building on the legacy of our Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration, who continue to pray for us all daily. For the FSPA who are here tonight, we are your grateful sons and daughters. We rely upon your prayer, your love, your example each and every day. And we are so grateful for Viterbo University and your example of what it is to live as faithful servants and ethical leaders. To close this evening, before we have refreshments, we again ask Father Conrad to give us a final blessing. Father?
Tonight in supplication, pray with me for world peace. As is written in the prophet Isaiah, they will not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain. God of comfort, send your Spirit to encompass all those whose lives are torn apart by violence and death in Israel, Palestine, Ukraine. You are the advocate of the oppressed and the one whose eye is on the sparrow. Let arms reach out in healing rather than aggression. Let hearts mourn rather than militarize. Give strength to those whose long work for a just peace might seem fruitless now. Strengthen their resolve. Don't let them feel alone. And may these Viterbo women and men we honor tonight and their holy work and deeds make this peace realizable. May peace be our prayer now and always forever. Amen. Thank you.
We will now continue our celebration out in the lobby with hors d'oeuvres, lively conversation, and much joy. Please put your right hand in the air and give me just a little bit of attitude, I can't see you, but I can feel that attitude. And repeat after me, Pace bene, pace bene. Those are the Italian words of St. Francis that he greet people with, peace and all good. And we say it with joy tonight, but can you think of anything more important that each of us could bring to our world tonight than peace and all good? Let's continue to celebrate our honorees in the lobby.